Good morning. Today we'll be talking about social media and digital communication. Before watching this video, please make sure that you've completed your warm-up, which can be found in the Day 4 folder in Schoology. In that warm-up, you are responding to this group chat in which your friends are being a little unfriendly to Jaylyn, and your job is going to be to respond as if you're in that group thread with at least 2 sentences that is going to turn that conversation in a more positive direction. So please make sure that that warm-up is completed before you get wrapped up in this video. Like I said, today we're talking about social media and digital communication like texting or FaceTiming. And to get us started, I want us to think about both the benefits and the dangers of these two things. So one example of a benefit of social media and digital communication is that we can keep in touch with people far away. So what I want you to do, write down my example, keep in touch, come up with another 2 examples for me. Pause the video so that you have time to do that, and then resume the video. Okay, at this point we have our 3 benefits. Now let's start coming up with some dangers. One danger might be that we could be catfished. Now that you have this one example, please come up with another 2. Pause the video so that you have time to do so. For this next section, I want us to copy the dangers that we wrote over here into the left-hand column of this table. So our first one was being catfished. So I'm going to rewrite that over in the left-hand column. And over in the right-hand column, I would be naive if I was to assume that these dangers would go away. I think these dangers are going to exist for forever. So to be a good digital citizen, we have to be able to avoid these dangers. So basically, I'm asking in the right, how can I avoid these dangers? Well, in terms of catfishing, I can keep my account private. And I cannot talk to people I don't know. So now what I want you to do is copy down the 2 dangers you wrote up here over into this column, and then in the right-hand column, I want you to come up with how you would avoid your danger number 2 and your danger number 3. Pause the video so that you have time to do so. The last page of your study guide gives you 4 multiple choice questions. On those questions, I want you to tell me what the first thing you should do is. Not the first thing that you would want to do, but the first thing that I, Ms. Galgano, your digital citizenship teacher, thinks that you should do. To clarify what I mean by number 1, I'm saying that you've been talking to someone in your Instagram DMs and now they want to meet in person. By talking to, I mean that you're having a romantic conversation and you want to meet in person because you haven't met that person in real life before. So go ahead, answer questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. They will each only have 1 correct answer. Pause the video so that you have time. Okay. So we were just spending a lot of time dwelling on some of the dangers and the bad things about social media, but social media can also be used for the betterment of society, by which I mean it can be used to improve our world around us. So here's an example of how that was accomplished. Here I have a picture of Susan. Susan was my fiance's aunt, and she passed away a couple of years ago. What Susan's daughter, Sarah, did is she created a GoFundMe to raise some funds for Susan's students. Susan used to be an English teacher. Her students came from a low socioeconomic background, and Susan used to buy her students school supplies. So what Sarah wanted to do to honor her mom's memory was raise funds so that she could still buy school supplies for students in Susan's school. We'll see here that she made a post on Instagram advertising her GoFundMe. Here in step 2, we see the GoFundMe account. Notice that Sarah initially wanted to raise $400, but she ended up raising $1,400 instead. She made way more than she wanted to. And then over here, she posted on Facebook thanking everyone for their contributions. I think it was very smart of Sarah to use both Instagram and Facebook. When we think about Instagram, we think of usually a lot of young users, so probably Sarah's friends would have been on Instagram. When we think of Facebook, we think of older generations often using Facebook, so that's probably where Susan, Sarah's mom, would have had a lot of her friends, so she's able to reach a very wide audience by using both Instagram and Facebook. What I'm going to have you do is download what I'm calling the Social Media Action Plan from the Day 4 folder in Schoology, and you are going to come up with a plan for how you can use social media for the betterment of society. The first thing that I'm asking you to do is come up with a problem in society. Think about places locally. Maybe your problem's at Howard. Maybe your problem's in Wilmington. You could do something like gun violence. You could do something like pollution. There are lots of options that you can choose from. Then for number 2, you're going to explain why you chose that problem for number 1. And number 3, you're going to tell me how you could raise awareness for it, what event you could plan. For number 4, you're going to come up with the Instagram or the social media tools that you'll use to make that happen. For number 5, you'll explain to me why you chose those accounts. And for number 6, you'll create a step-by-step plan for yourself. So here is what my future cousin Sarah's might have looked like. She chose as her problem that students at the school where her mom used to work can't afford their school supplies. For her rationale as to why she chose that, she talked about how much her mom cared about her students and how she wants to carry on that legacy. Her plan to raise awareness is that she's going to create a fundraiser where she can advertise on social media. Her 3 tools were GoFundMe, Instagram, and Facebook. For her reasoning, she said that GoFundMe is a great way to raise funds online. Instagram will help her advertise to her friends, and Facebook will help her advertise to her mom's friends. So that's why she chose those 3 tools. And then for her step-by-step plan, first she's going to create that GoFundMe. Then for step 2, she's going to create posts on Instagram and Facebook to help advertise for that GoFundMe. And then lastly, once the GoFundMe is complete, she's again going to turn to Instagram and Facebook to thank everyone for donating. So I want you to download this document from the Day 4 folder in Schoology into Notability, complete this for me, and resubmit to Schoology by the end of class.